time I get an opportunity to come to this place, this stadium, I always just look around and see all the trees and the mountains. Just a gorgeous area and a gorgeous stadium.
And you can see the Space Force uniforms that Air Force is wearing. That kick with the wind, no surprise, goes through the end zone. All right, Liam Zarka, just a sophomore. Turbo, this is only his 4th career start.
Yeah, it seems like he's been starting for this offense for 4 years now. Just the maturity that he's been able to gain just over the course of this season and with minimal experience. But, you know, he plays like a veteran, and this is a guy that accounts for over 50% of the success offensively for Air Force. Looking to have another big day. One big change for Air Force's offense this year. They go out of the shotgun a lot more than they have. They have a brilliant offensive coordinator in Mike Thiessen. Zarka's going to throw it, looking right, fires, and throws it over the head of all the Cowboys on the sideline. Great coverage there. It looked like Caleb Merritt on the far sideline for Wyoming. And this is the defense for Wyoming, very familiar with how Air Force runs their offense. Tyrese Boss, nice coverage there. You see Johnson in coverage there. They're in man. Nice job sticking to the receivers, not fooled by the play action that time.
2nd down and 10. On the ground, that's Cade Frew, and Frew is across the 30. Let's see where they mark him. Actually, his knee was down earlier. It's just outside the 29-yard line. Key matchup here, the offensive line of Air Force and the front 4 of Wyoming.
Well, they call the offensive line for Air Force the Diesel, and this is a unit that has a lot of synergy. They've started every game this season together, but this defensive line, a veteran group for Wyoming, 14 sacks. They do a nice job getting to the backfield and being disruptive. That matchup right there is going to be key to the success of both teams today.
It's a 3rd down and a long 5 and a quick pitch. That's Frew trying to get the 1st down, and it looks like he has it. Out to the 36-yard line, it's a 7-yard carry.
One of the things that Liam Zarka does so well, Rich, is when he runs that option play, he does a nice job really forcing the defender to play him with the ball in his hands before he makes that pitch right at the last second, and that really opens up the space for Cade Frew that time.
And one of the things Air Force does really well, they're one of the best 3rd down teams in the country. And the Falcons keep it on the ground. It's Frew again. Tice Westland, who was having a terrific year for Wyoming, made the hit. Gain of 1.
What a matchup this is going to be, this front 7 versus the run scheme offensively for Air Force. What Wyoming does a good job of is they're really disciplined in their gaps and not going to find a lot of open space against this defense.
2nd and 9. Opening drive, Air Force and Wyoming. Zarka, he's going to keep it, looking for a seam, and he's hit and dropped at the 43-yard line. One thing the Air Force coaches told us yesterday is they say Wyoming knows our offense better than anybody in the Mountain West.
Yeah, it's hard to fool them. They really play physical. They've got the discipline. They understand how Air Force is trying to attack them. But this is going to come down to who's going to be able to impose their will more over the course of 4 quarters.
Look at these 4 games that he stacked upon each other. And remember, the Boise State game, he came off the bench and still lit it up.
That's really when he earned his starting job right there.
All right, they're great on 3rd down, one of the best in the country. Zarka to the right side, trying to spring one. And he has the 1st down. He's caught and dropped there. Enoch Sibomana made the stop, another 9 yards for this sophomore.
The thing that you're noticing fairly quickly here in this game, Rich, is Air Force is having some success on the edges against this Wyoming defense, and it feels like that is an area of attack that they want to capitalize throughout this game.
I think with Zarka's emergence, what gets lost is how good this offensive line is for Air Force. Wyoming's 48-yard line. Zarka fakes the pitch, and he has another chunk of yardage there. Lucas Samsula made the stop for Wyoming. It's a gain of 5. This is the old school Air Force, right? And I think with the wind right now, they're going right into this 20-mile-an-hour wind. We may see a lot of this old school stuff.
Well, they'll play like this all day long. They're the type of offense, as we take a look at rushing attempts and rushing yards per game. They're third and fourth in those categories in all the country. They do a nice job controlling the clock. As long as they stay ahead of the sticks, that's the type of offense that they want to play in.
Empty set, and Zarka will keep it. That's great ball handling by the quarterback. Dacius Miller made the stop, 6 more yards, another first down. Air Force is eating clock, gobbling up yardage on a very impressive opening drive.
And when we talk about the style of play of Air Force, right, we talked about controlling the clock already. They want to beat you up as much as possible in the run game, outside runs, inside runs. And eventually, boy, Zarka's going to drop back in that pocket and try to hit a shot down the field to one of his wide receivers.
That's a quick toss there to Harris on the right side. The speedster is caught, and he is dropped. That's Ethan Stolzatz, the linebacker, the senior out of Wichita.
Really nice pursuit by Stolzatz right there, getting off a block, playing inside out, and being able to bring down Cade Harris. Not an easy thing to do.
You know, Wyoming's base defense changes when they play Air Force. They go with no nickel, and they go with 3 linebackers.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of 4 down front from Wyoming today. 3 backers, that's their base defense, and 4 DBs.
Zarka again, Tice Westland makes the stop. That's a gain of 1, and this brings up a more ambitious third down and about 7 or 8.
Boy, Tice Westland really had a nice game last week against San Jose State. He was a part of that big comeback, had a strip sack in the third quarter against Walker Egan, starting quarterback for San Jose. That really helped spark this defense and that comeback for Wyoming. And he's a pretty big piece for this defense today.
Going into the win, that target line gets reduced here. Zarka somehow gets the throw away, and Bruin Fleischman makes the catch. And this is going to put a 4th down and about 3. And with the wind in their face and the field goal issues they've had, this is Air Force going for it.
Yeah, 4th and 3, they're going to go for it. But Aaron Bowl, defensive coordinator for Wyoming, dialing it up right there, sending a blitz. Don't really see that often. Jones Thomas able to get in there and disrupt the timing on the pass.
Fourth and 3.
I expect this ball to be in Zarka's hands here on the run.
Frew in the backfield. Frew gets the pitch, and he's got room, and he's got the first down. Cade Frew down to the 20 and knocked out of bounds. And Air Force keeps doing Air Force-type things on this drive.
Well, they're continuing to find success on the edge of this defense, and right now, they just don't have a lot of contain this Wyoming defense. And there, Zarka's got the option to keep the ball himself or pitch it to Cade Frew. He sees all that open space on the outside, so he goes ahead and pitches it to Frew, and he's able to convert for that first down.
Owen Allen in the red zone. Very good. That touchdown percentage, 5th in FBS. And of course, Wyoming, they thrive defensively on stuff like this. This is Zarka. One thing that's going to happen here is Braden Johnson makes the stop. If Zarka continues to carry it this many times, he's going to be exposed to a lot of hits, especially with the caliber of the Wyoming linebackers.
Well, Coach Calhoun talked about he's a big, strong kid now, and he understands the physicality that comes with, you know, not only playing the quarterback position, but in this offense specifically. And this is an offense designed for the quarterback to have a pretty prominent piece in the run game, and he's ready for it.
That's a timeout. Wyoming wants to talk it over. And Air Force on this drive has eaten up half of the first quarter already. A mammoth drive, and they're still rolling. Just underway. Wyoming, Air Force. He's made a lot of adjustments to this offense, not only in the offseason, but also once he saw what Zarka brought to the offense. He's one of the best at making in-game adjustments, and Aaron Bowl is in 2nd year. Of course, the son of a great head coach at Wyoming, Craig Bowl.
Well, the point that you made about Mike Thiessen. Not only does he do great in in-game adjustments, but evaluating his talent throughout the spring, throughout the summer, and then curating an offense that best suits the personnel on his football team. That's one of the things that he's done really, really well over the course of his career.
14th play of the drive. The opening drive of this game. Owen Allen had such a big game last week. Almost 200 yards on the ground at UNLV, but he's stuffed by this stout defense by Wyoming. And that's Braden Johnson, one of the best linebackers in the country, according to Pro Football Focus, and what he's been able to do this year.
Did a nice job going downhill, filling his gap. And this veteran defensive line group led by Ben Florentine, number 94, Lucas Sansula, it's going to be hard to run in the middle of this defense with those guys leading the charge.
Zarka got a pitch man with him, and he's caught in pursuit. Westland getting down the line of scrimmage, stringing that out, makes the stop. Aaron Bull's defense in his second year, they're giving up just 345 yards a game. Now, Air Force is going to bring a field goal unit on that includes a new kicker. And this is Reagan Tubbs. He's only attempted one field goal in his career, and that was from 30 yards. And that was 2 seasons ago. Snap, kick is up, and the kick is good. And Tubbs is 2 for 2 in his career. A long drive and 3 points, and an early lead for Air Force.
These are the facts. Switch to Total Wireless and save 50% off Metro and Cricket. Guaranteed. With one line when you keep the phone and number you love. Facts. That means you'll pay half what these guys charge when you bring your phone. Get the facts. Then switch to Total Wireless.
On a slant. And it's no secret that the weakness of the defense for Air Force is their secondary.
It's a nice job getting down and dinging that football out of the ground there, Eric Richardson, and then getting some yards after the catch. That's going to be a big deal for Wyoming, getting their guys in some space for some yak yardage.
Anderson, a big kid, 6'4", 230. And of course, a terrific fourth quarter, both defensively and offensively in the comeback. Quick throw, that's Chris Durr. They want to get him the ball in space, and he's got a first down at the 37-yard line. What's your key matchup here? Might it be with a large tight end who's making a return?
6'5", 251 pounds, John Michael Gillenborg, number 84 for Wyoming. Back after missing 3 games, he's a key piece to this offense. But on the other side, Blake Fletcher, the green dot, the leader of that defense, going to be looking to slow him down.
Fletcher is a top 10 tackler in the nation right now. Play action. Anderson flicks it. That's Durr again. That's a creative play call by Jay Johnson, the offensive coordinator, and a Wyoming first down, 11 yards. And the Cowboys looking crisp.
And we talked about Caden Anderson building off the confidence from last week. You see a couple quick throws, just some quick strikes out there to his receiver to start the game. Then some play action, getting his guys out in space. This is helping Caden Anderson get into a nice rhythm in this offense today.
Just shy of midfield. Tote Harris, his first carry.
Tote Harris, just a freshman who, earned the starting job week 3 against Utah. He lost that football game, but, he's a guy that is very explosive and one of those guys that can take it to the house from anywhere on the field.
No, that's not a good sign for Wyoming, and that's John Michael Gillenborg right now getting stretched out on the sideline. Little inside handoff, Dion DeBlanc. And DeBlanc is all the way down to the 41-yard line. That's 9 yards on the carry. This Wyoming offense is taking big bites of yardage.
And they're trying to take advantage of this young defense right here. You see them a little bit, going up quick to the line of scrimmage. They're usually a team that huddles up, but today, getting a little what we call a muddle huddle, getting their guys up to the line of scrimmage and trying to play with a little bit of tempo offensively.
You see the rushing offense is not up to Wyoming's normal standards, but they're getting more in the air. Harris again, and this time the defense stiffens. You said young defense. That's a loss of one, especially in the secondary for Air Force. I mean, they are starting 3 true freshmen. Those freshmen that are starting were playing high school football last year. And then a couple of sophomores. They've had some injury issues. Kyle Chen, Levi Brown is out. They lost a DB in the portal and 3 really good defensive backs to graduation last year. 2nd and 11. Anderson play action. Man wide open on the sideline. Jackson Holman with the catch. And Wyoming continues to click. Although that's not enough for a first down. They're going to mark that right about the 37, 5 yards, and a 3rd down.
And the interesting thing, going back to your point about the secondary being young, is that, you know, this is the 9th different starting lineup that they've used this season. Or the 9th different lineup in the secondary that they've used this season over the course of the 6 games. Just trying to find some consistency there in the secondary.
3rd down, 6. Anderson throwing with the wind. A leaping catch. Incomplete. Along the sideline in front of the Air Force bench.
They're going to talk about it.
That's Jalen Sargent, I believe.
Looks
That's
like a catch to me. That was a beautiful throw by Caden Anderson. Sargent.
Left foot down.
A senior wide receiver, the veteran of that group. That's a nice throw and catch.
Original call is incomplete.
The previous play is under further review.
But for that first look we saw, Turbo, that looks very much like a catch. Brad Carell is our referee, a Mountain West crew. And he's trotting down to take a look.
Sargent goes up. He's got possession, clear possession of the football, control.
That's not just a catch, that's a great catch.
It is, and it's a great throw as well. I mean, you talk about putting the ball really in the only spot that Sargent was going to be able to catch that ball in between 2 defenders. And he goes up and makes a play.
It almost feels like, too, it looks like he completed the catch as well. It feels like Wyoming's got the wind at their back. Remember, we mentioned 20 miles an hour, 32-mile-an-hour gusts, but they're going with the wind right now. They're throw heavy right now is Jay Sauvel and his offensive coordinator, Jay Johnson. Whereas Air Force was going against the wind, and even though they do throw it a lot more this year, they were almost exclusively on the ground.
Yeah, 2 different sort of game plans in this game, right? Air Force wants to control the clock, keep their defense off of the field, understanding that, you know, that's been sort of a softer side of the football for them this season. And now that Wyoming has a football, they're like, look, we want to try to take advantage of where we feel like their weaknesses are in the secondary.
Well, that exchange right there leads us to believe that it might be a catch.
I don't think there's any doubt.
After review, the receiver got his left foot down inbounds, maintained control of the ball through the process of the catch going to the ground. It'll be 1st and 10 for Wyoming at the 23-yard line.
That catch by Jalen Sargent, 14 yards, and another 1st down. So the drive continues. Impressive first drive by Air Force. They ate up 9 minutes, got a field goal, 16 plays. Wyoming is answering here with a little more throwing and some big chunks of yardage, 8, 9, 10 yards at a clip. 8 plays, 51 yards, 4 minutes in. On the ground, into the end zone, it's Kelman. Touchdown, Wyoming, 23 yards. He had the big score to win the game against San Jose State last week. And Wyoming grabs the lead.
Picking up right where he left off, Rich. The game-winning touchdown last week against San Jose State, a 28-yarder. And right here in the first quarter, getting things going with Wyoming's first touchdown. Here's a guy that wasn't playing a whole lot earlier in the season, but he stayed ready. And he's been getting his opportunity and taking advantage of it.
Extra point is up and good. 2 long drives A field goal for Air Force, a touchdown for Wyoming. It was quite a first quarter.
Jersey Mike's is now an official sponsor of the NFL.
Back in their drive, Air Force had it in their face. Air Force attempted 2 passes, completed 1. The ball's through the end zone, as you would expect, and Air Force will bring it out the 25-yard line. We do this every time we have an Air Force or a Academy game. Armed Forces Greatest Legends, brought to you by The Exchange. Take a look at Brad Roberts. He is the prototype fullback for Air Force, leading rusher in the country his senior year. Man, what a legend this guy is. And when he was leading the country in rushing, he hosted this guy in his recruiting trip, Owen Allen, who came up, and Owen Allen said, "That's Brad Roberts. That's the man. I'm coming to Air Force." It was a pretty easy decision after that. And Zarka exposed again, getting hit hard. Jones Thomas coming up from his safety spot, and that's a hard-earned 2 yards.
Yeah, going back to your point about Owen Allen, who had a lot of success as a high school running back, and so, when he comes on his recruiting trip and he gets hosted by one of the best all-time here at Air Force, that was a pretty convincing person to have on your recruiting trip hosting you there.
Allen only ran for 7,700 yards in high school in Texas. Zarka hit as he throws. The ball is loose. Who's got it? Wyoming says they do. Let's see. No, they don't. Wyoming immediately said it's our ball. And it looked like Owen Allen may have gotten on it. And you can see the hit by Chisholm Ifeini, the graduate. It is a fumble, and it was the offense that recovered it. Let's see who got on it. It looks like an offensive lineman, and it looks like Gage Spencer. Timeout on the field. Loss of 7. Back after this.
This
has shifted. It's in the face of Wyoming now. Again, if you're just joining us, 20-mile-an-hour winds, gusts up to 30, going from your left to right. Air Force had it in their face. Wyoming burned timeouts to force Air Force to punt into the wind. At least that's what it seems to me. Turbo, am I off here?
Yeah, that's the only thing that I can point to is Coach Salvell wanted to play the field position game here against Air Force, understanding how much of a physical game this is going to be, how less of opportunities you're going to get because of time of possession. But still, those timeouts are valuable.
Anderson, swing pass, Harris with the catch, and Air Force's defense is out there. Isaac Hubert on the spot, as well as Aiden Swartz. Loss of 4.
Caden Harris not able to find any targets down the field, so he takes his check down there to Tote Harris, and just a nice job by the Air Force defense swarming to the football and, getting a guy that's pretty good at making guys miss in space, getting them down.
In their front 3 and in their linebackers, Air Force has some good players. This is not a bad front. Chris Durr in motion on a 2nd down and 14. Anderson flushed, and he's hit and dropped. Peyton Zadroik busting through, and for Zadroik, his 14th career sack at Air Force.
And Zadroik has really been the emotional leader for this defense all season long. He's understood the struggles. He's been very vocal about the struggles defensively, but not shying away from accountability. He wants this defensive line to play at a higher level, and he did a nice job getting off a block that time and getting the sack.
Anderson 6 of 6 so far, but this is a long 3rd and 19 into the wind. And Wyoming's going to keep it on the ground, and Tote Harris has a sizable gain, but certainly not enough for the first down. Max Mustel made the stop, and now it's Wyoming that has to punt into the wind. Nick Toth is the safeties and nickel coach, and he is calling plays right now defensively, calling the coverages and the schemes. Brian Knorr, the longtime defensive coordinator, is also working with him. Look, the Air Force has always had great defenses. They just have a really young and inexperienced secondary. And that's kind of been the biggest reason their defense has struggled. That's a pretty good kick into the wind. And a fair catch called for and made at about the 14-yard line. 7-3, Wyoming on top. We're early in the second quarter.
Jersey Mike's is now an official sponsor of the NFL.
Hold on. You're stealing my job.
I don't want to steal anything.
Lies. Eli's.
I just love these subs.
It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
These are the facts. Switch to Total Wireless and save 50% off Metro and Cricket. Guaranteed. With one line when you keep the phone and number you love.
Of course, got the wind at their back here in the second quarter. Zarka's completed one pass. And a long count here. The lead option, going to take it himself, and Zarka's going to get a 10-yard run. We'll see where they mark him out of bounds. That may be a 12-yarder. Jones-Thomas made the hit. That's another first down.
Here's Zarka again taking it off the edge, and just a nice seal block by Bruin Fleischman. We talk about his ability to be able to make plays in the passing game, but he's a physical blocker as well.
Armed Forces football, proudly supported by USAA. Cade Harris in the backfield. And that's Frew coming around the right side. And Frew is swallowed up. Good stop there by Wyoming. Let's head back to New York. Brent Stover.
Rich, over on CBS, Julian Sayin begins 14 of 15, 2 touchdown throws to Carnell Tate. Right now we're showing you that touchdown in the Ole Miss game again, but trust me, Ohio State leads at Wisconsin 17-0 start of the second, guys.
All right, thank you. As you can see, Brent Stover still has some timeouts left in the first half. Not Wyoming right now. As Air Force is driven to midfield, Zarka, late pitch, Frew, and he's going to get out of bounds. Let's see where they mark him. That's close to the sticks.
It's also close to unnecessary roughness that time on the sideline. There's Zarka. He pitches it late. He does a really nice job with his decision-making, out of bounds, but then gets thrown to the ground there. A little bit surprised not to see a flag.
It's a gain of 5, 3rd down and 2. Air Force got their first 2 third downs, 0 of 3 since. This is probably 4-down territory for Air Force. And that's a first down to the 40-yard line. That's Air Force football. Braden Johnson made the stop. They live for 3rd and 2. That's why they're one of the nation's best at 3rd downs.
Yeah, that's the type of offense that they want to be in. That 3rd and 3 and shorter, really they feel like that's where they can have the best advantage.
You see that play selection. That's not a good illustration of what their offense has been this year. They're much heavier in the pass than that ratio. Zarka, and it feels like Wyoming has stopped him, or at least slowed him down. And we go down to the field. Tiffany Blackman. Hi, Tiff.
Hey, guys. Well, what's equally as impressive as the numbers Liam Zarka is putting up this season is that he's earned the respect as a sophomore from his teammates. And fullback Owen Allen talked to us about that. He said he's so calm during games no matter what and just finds a way to lead. He said it's a lot to ask of a sophomore guy to be QB1 of a Division I program, but somehow Zarka's able to pull it off, guys.
Tiffany, that's good stuff. And he's also made all the checks right. He's going to throw it here. Now scrambles. Zarka gets outside. He's got a lot of green. Zarka cuts, tumbles down to the 12. Andrew Johnson brought him down. And that's the danger of Zarka. He's explosive once he gets outside of the pocket, 29 yards.
And the thing that you're really impressed with in terms of Zarka is his decision-making. And so even if a play isn't quite there, if it gets broken down, he's able to make something out of nothing, and a good example of it right there on that last play.
It's a really good tackle by Andrew Johnson of Wyoming. And another long drive for Air Force. Zarka fakes the pitch and then gets swallowed up. Chisholm Ifaini made the stop.
Yeah, see, right there, again, in terms of decision-making for Zarka, 2 defenders on the outside, a nice job defensively by Wyoming, but not forcing the pitch right here. Keeps it to himself, protects the football, and just nice pursuit that time, getting off a block. That's Ifeanyi and being able to get him down.
2nd down 8. They can get a first down if they get just outside the 1-yard line. And Zarka again gets hit. That's Westland. His big gain was on a scramble, but it feels like Wyoming has got him dialed in when it's option time.
Well, they've had some success in this game today with the option play. That was the first time I've really seen Zarka a little indecisive on whether or not to pitch that football. That one's got to come out, I thought, there. But he decides to keep it, better play it safe than sorry, and live to play the next down.
And Wyoming is hoping to limit Air Force to a field goal attempt here. 3rd down 11. Carson and Frew in the backfield. Zarka, a little swing pass, and it's incomplete. Frew was covered out there. He didn't catch the football, obviously. Enoch Sibomana out there in coverage.
Frew's a guy that they like to mix up in this offense as well, just to drop that time. He's got to catch that one. 5 catches on the season. 3rd and long is not a scenario that Air Force is most comfortable being in, so a nice job by Wyoming pushing them behind the sticks and getting a key stop on 3rd down.
Again, a switch at place kicker for Air Force. Reagan Tubbs, who had 1 career field goal in 3 seasons, getting the start here, and he knocks through another short one. That feels like a win for the Wyoming defense. They still have the lead, 7-6.
These are the facts. Switch to Total Wireless and save 50% off Metro and Cricket. Guaranteed. With 1 line when you keep the phone and number you love. Facts. That means you'll pay half what these guys charge when you bring your phone. Get the facts, then switch to Total Wireless.
Dion DeBlanc, look at the wind aiding that one as Tubbs knocks it well beyond the back of the end zone. This drive by Wyoming, their first touch is pretty impressive.
Really nice balance in this drive. Caden Anderson accurate. He was 5 for 5 in this game so far. He's hit different wide receivers, 5 different targets he's been able to complete passes to. But then how about Jerron Kelman finishing up where he left off? Well, he's getting started where he left off in last week's games. There's the stats right there. 6 for 6 today so far for Caden Anderson.
Yeah, great start. Almost all of those attempts with the wind at his back. Wind's in his face right now. And Wyoming keeps it on the ground. That's Lukia Rawls. So again, if you're just joining us, 20-mile-an-hour winds, 32-mile-an-hour gusts, and it's going left to right. So it's in the face of Wyoming right now. From our vantage point, you can actually see the goalposts moving. You know, you look for the flags at the top of the posts, but the wind gusts themselves are starting to move the posts. You can see it in the shot right there. It's a great look. 2nd down 8. Play action here. Anderson flips it, and a good hit there, incomplete. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 8.
I thought Caden Anderson that time just a little late on the throw, looking for his target, Michael Fitzgerald, who is someone that Jay Johnson, offensive coordinator, wants to get more involved, utilize his height. He's 6'6". That time just couldn't come away with the catch.
R.J. Reedus getting in the game, making a nice hit there. Again at the sideline, and again to Fitzgerald. This one is caught. That's not an easy throw for the far hash, especially with the wind in your face.
Well, the thing you're impressed about right here is the pressure in Caden Anderson's face and still being able to sit in the pocket and throw an accurate football coming right back to Michael Fitzgerald.
Anderson flips it out. That's Evan Swoboda, the former quarterback, and Swoboda ducks out of bounds. We were told that John Michael Gillenborg was going to play in this ball game. Remember, we saw him early in the game getting stretched out on the sideline. And Swoboda getting time. And yeah, that's the same guy who was the starting quarterback for much of last year.
Yeah, he's gotten so much comfortable now, Rich, playing tight end. The biggest learning curve for him was, learning how to block and being physical at the point of attack, and he certainly developed that as well.
Little end around here from Bryson Brantley, and Air Force stuffs it. That's Isaac Hubert, one of their 3 linebackers that makes the play.
Yeah, it was that used to be on the offensive side of the football, was a former fullback. They moved him over to defensive end, and that's just a nice job being disciplined, not getting caught inside, keeping that outside shoulder free, and being able to make a play in the backfield.
So 3rd down and 4, just outside the 41. Anderson looking downfield. That's knocked down. Incomplete. Vinny Canosa getting a hand on it and knocking it away. Or excuse me. Was it Max Mustel? It was Mustel.
Well, Caden Anderson comes off his first read and tries to hit Schofield over the middle. And just a nice job by Mustel getting a hand in there. Good technique, no pass interference, forcing the punt.
End over end, and a fair catch called for at the 23. Air Force has returned just 1 punt this year. They're the kings of the fair catch. Air Force Academy, always a great place to watch a football game.
You're so much more than just a landowner.
It's 7 of the last 9. I love the fact that they usually run the game ball from Laramie down to Fort Collins or Fort Collins up to Laramie.
That's right.
Owen Allen in the ball game right now. Air Force with the football. 2 long drives, but Wyoming's defense in the red zone has forced 2 field goals. And that's the difference in the game right now. Harris in motion. Zarka on an option is going to keep it. And again, it feels like as Tice Westland gets another tackle, it feels like Wyoming on option plays has him dialed in right now.
Westland all over the field in today's game. 7 tackles last week, a sack against San Jose State, a forced fumble. He's a senior, but a guy that has continuously gotten better over the course of this season and having a huge impact today so far.
Allen in the backfield. You see Zarka, he's run for 74 yards. One of those was on a scramble, and that accounted for a lot of that yardage. And Allen busts loose, just like he did against UNLV. 4 trap plays were big gainers last week for Allen, and he cuts loose there for 15.
And they go right back to that trap play here against Wyoming, a play that they had so much success with last week, and picking up right where he left off. Owen Allen converting that first down on a big game.
Troy Calhoun talked about that trap. Remember, Calhoun, head coach and position coach, and his position is fullback. Zarka, late pitch! And Frew somehow made the catch before getting blown up by Dancius Miller. That had danger written all over it. Great play by Miller, loss of 3.
And Dancius Miller, not fooled at all. Didn't allow Owen Allen to get up and get the block. And he kept his outside leverage and came downhill for a big-time hit. And, we've talked about Wyoming and their ability to be disciplined against this option scheme. And, so far they're having quite a bit of success defending it.
Allen in the backfield. Zarka looking to throw. Hit as he throws, a wobbler, and it's incomplete. And Wyoming's defense, that's Tice Westland, is having a terrific game so far. The senior out of Pleasanton, Nebraska.
And he certainly had an open target down the field.
Westland grew up in Nebraska playing 8-man football. If you've never heard of 8-man football, that's when you have a high school league in a remote area that doesn't have enough guys for 11-man football. They play 8-man football. Turbo, you could have dominated. Well, you dominated anyway, but I mean, 8-man, you would have been. You would have been legendary in an 8-man. I've never seen an 8-man football game.
Ball start. Offense. Number 81. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
It's Jonah Dawson, and this drive for Air Force moving backwards. That's the first penalty of the game. Either team.
In this offense, so much different when they're not able to produce yardage on first down. They're averaging under 3 yards per attempt on first down in this game so far. And you can see how it limits them in terms of their ability to have success offensively. Wyoming doing a good job defending this scheme.
Third down 19. Quick pitch. Cade Frew has a gain. And he only gets to the 40. That's a gain of 8. And now Air Force going to punt. They do have the wind at their back.
It's a 2-minute timeout approaching here. And they'll likely punt after that.
Air Force going to wait it out. Of course, again, Wyoming, we talked about it when they used those 2 timeouts to force Air Force to punt into the wind. They don't have a timeout coming up in the final 2 minutes of this first half. 1-point ball game and a fun one. Bounces twice, and did they keep it in? Now Wyoming's got the ball. What a crazy sequence that was. At the 7-yard line, Charlie Coonan picked it up. That's a 59-yard punt and a return of 6.
That's a heads-up play by Charlie Coonan, just giving Wyoming a few more yards and a little bit more space away from the goal line. Nice job by the punt team getting down there to try to down that football. A great punt. Exactly what you wanted if you're Air Force. And if you're Wyoming, you're thinking about those timeouts that you burned in the first quarter, because here you are inside your own 10-yard line. You want to put together a 2-minute drive here.
See no timeouts left. Wyoming does have the football to start the second half, so they have a chance to win the middle of this game. The final 2 minutes here in the first possession. They keep it on the ground going into the wind. And if you're without your best tight end right now, aren't you, Wyoming? For more on that, here's Tiffany Blackman.
Yeah, Rich. Hey, Rich, they are, and I've been keeping an eye on John Michael Gillenborg. He's been on the bike the majority of the time, trying to work through what appears to be his left hamstring. He's been grabbing at it, using the percussive tool to try to massage it out. At some points, the athletic trainers have come up to him to ask him if he's all right, and he's continued to just get back on the bike, guys, and still, as we speak, using that tool all over that left side of his hamstring. So I'll keep an eye and let you guys know if he's able to get back in the game at some point.
Hey, Tiff, that actually has been a very popular accoutrement for broadcasters flying across the country. Is that percussion gun, right?
You know, it works wonders, especially on some of these long flights we've had.
Accoutrement.
Turbo, you got to get yourself one of those.
I've got like 4. Okay.
Do you travel? You travel with it?
I don't travel with it because I like to travel light, but I got a bunch of them at the house. So when Air Force uses a timeout here, they're going to try to get this ball back, and they've got the wind at their advantage in terms of they can force Wyoming to punt. Might have some good field position here before the end of the half.
Cade Anderson has been accurate. That's DeBlanc in motion. That's Harris with the carry, getting to the edge, and he's out of bounds, and it stops the clock.
Yeah, very wise by Todd Harris right there. It's a good heads-up play by a freshman, right?
Yeah, it's going to move the sticks. That's a first down.
Move the sticks. You get a chunk play on a run play there. And if you're Wyoming, now you got a chance here to maybe get down in the field goal range.
8 of 10 in the game is Anderson. And from the shotgun here, no timeouts for Wyoming. They'll keep it on the ground, see if Harris can pick up. Let's see if Air Force calls a timeout here. Ball's at the 32, and it doesn't look like Air Force going to call one. They've got 2 left. A little hurry-up action here. Late addition defensively for Air Force. Anderson back, flushed, and on the run he throws, and it's incomplete. Now, as you watch Anderson scramble, keep in mind that he's had 2 ACL surgeries. Both were in high school, his sophomore year and late in his senior year. He takes a hit here. He's got that heavy brace on the right knee. And the incompletion does stop the clock, so that's as good as a timeout for Air Force.
Yeah, man, if you're able to get a stop here on 3rd down, expect Air Force to call a timeout if the play stays in bounds.
Anderson is going to throw it. Has time. Little short pass. It's topped by Harris. And Tote Harris across midfield all the way into Air Force territory to the 45-yard line. R.J. Reedus made the stop. 25 yards.
They got to get up. Back to the line of scrimmage they go.
It's a well-designed play. Play action here. Flip it out. And
oh, you got to get out of bounds right there.
Let's see if he did get out. Kyle Frent, the tight end. He's like the 5th tight end we've seen in this game for Wyoming.
He's got to be a little bit more heads up than that. The clock does stop a little bit momentarily, though, for the first down.
With Gillenborg on the bench, Wyoming has emptied the tight end cupboard. And that's a nice pickup and a 1st down. And Wyoming moving the football with 51 seconds left.
Got a stoppage in play here for an injury.
That's Frent on the catch. And that looks like Reedus. Man, they can ill afford to lose anybody in the secondary. They've already got Kyle Chen out for the season. Levi Brown. Maybe they get him back for the Army game. And they're just loaded with freshmen and sophomores. And that's been the toughest part for Air Force defensively. 8 different receivers have caught footballs and 10 completions so far.
Jay Sawbell trying to get his offense, get on the field. Let's go, get lined up.
He's doing a nice job right now, as is his offense, of moving the football without a timeout. He's been able to get out of bounds a couple times. They're just about in field goal range. Remember, they're going into a 20-mile-an-hour wind with some gusts as well. That's DeBlanc, and he's knocked back to the 40-yard line. That's Mikhail Sykin with a big play, and the clock is rolling. They're going fast. They're not lined up right now. They're way offside, and a flag is going to come down. And that's, it looked like Frent, the tight end, came over to the bottom of your screen, and he literally stepped over the line when he lined up, and he never got back.
Got to check in with the referee when you get lined up there on the line of scrimmage. I didn't see him point at all to the sideline or anything.
And remember, he's way down the depth chart. He hasn't played a whole lot this year.
False start. Offense, number 83. This foul qualifies for a 10-second runoff. Please reset the game clock to 21 seconds.
Boy, that's double jeopardy. See, he had come over, and he's standing in front of the receiver, bottom of your screen.
There he is right there. And had Wyoming had a timeout, they could have avoided a 10-second runoff in that situation.
That's a great point. They used all of those timeouts at the end of the first quarter. So the clock's down to 21. They're going to put one more second on it. Wyoming does get the football to start the second half.
You got to be disciplined here. If you're the skilled players for Wyoming, you catch this football, and if you're able to get out of bounds, that's got to be the priority for you right now.
See if Air Force brings heat. They bring 4. Anderson's flushed. Little swing pass there. Flags are down in the backfield. Sam Scott making the catch. He's going to pick up a few yards. But the flag sits back at the 47-yard line.
Happens a lot of times when you're blocking inside out and your quarterback gets flushed outside. Sometimes just reach and can cause a holding penalty there.
Holding. Offense, number 63. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
13 seconds left.
There's Braylon Jenkins right there. And he's the one that's going to get flagged here. Right hand right there.
Wyoming keeps it on the ground. Tote Harris. But they had a long way to go. They were going into the winds.
Difference in this game for them. And then on the other side for Wyoming, you all were talking a lot about the timeouts that were called in that first quarter. Well, Coach Sawville told me it was purely just to make Air Force punt into the wind. He said the wind has been a huge factor. They wanted to make it a short field. I know you guys were all over that.
All right, thank you, Tiff. Stay warm down there. It's gotten chilly, even though it's sunny here in Colorado Springs. Into the wind goes Caden Anderson and Wyoming. They keep it on the ground the first play. And out to the 30-31 is Teron Kelman. Kelman had that mad dash at the end of the game, that great comeback last week to beat San Jose State. Under a minute left. Blake Fletcher, one of the leading tacklers in the country, made the stop there.
Also had a touchdown to start this game. The only touchdown for Wyoming as well, 23-yarder. Wyoming playing with some tempo offensively today, a little different than normal.
Anderson. Wow, it's Sargent. He was the guy that made the great catch right around that spot in the first half. Got his hands up and snagged that one for 6 yards.
And it's been an interesting season for Sargent. He's a senior, but kind of started off the season a little lower on the depth chart. He was having some differences, you know, with the coaching staff. He wanted more playing time, wasn't getting it, made some early mistakes, but you know, that veteran presence has really not only helped his team, but helped him be able to bounce back and be a prominent piece in this offense again.
36-yard line for Wyoming. Blitz comes. Anderson rolls away from it, throws back across the middle. Nice catch there. Well-designed play. Evan Swoboda all the way out to midfield, 11 yards. Swoboda, the backup, or is a backup tight end now. He was a starting quarterback last year.
How about Evan Swoboda understanding the zone defense, finding an open window, breaking a tackle, getting some yards after the catch. We're going to talk about a guy switching positions and developing at it. Evan Swoboda doing a nice job at it.
I like him as a tight end. And of course, if you just joined us, John Michael Gillenborg has had a tight hamstring and really hasn't played in this ball game. Their star tight end for Wyoming. On the ground, Kelman the carry, gain of 7. Now, look, Air Force's defense has been giving up close to 45 points a game of late. And going fast there, under the 42. Daly makes the stop, gain of 5. I mean, in the second half, they're giving up a ton of points, worst in all of college football.
It's certainly something Coach Troy Calhoun has been highlighting in terms of, hey, we just need more at-bats, more reps in games, young defense. He feels like they're right on the verge of getting over that hump there.
Kunin in motion. Harris, he's going to get inside the 40 to the 38-yard line, another 5 yards. Andrew Tillett with the carry.
This has been an interesting pair of running backs. Tote Harris, Teron Kelman. We saw Sam Scott a little bit there in that first half, who was the previous starter. All these guys, team players, and when they've gotten their opportunities, they've been patient and have taken advantage of them.
Harris again stretches out, but his knee was down, and he's short of the first down, 34-yard line. One of the storylines coming in, great offense for Air Force, not a great defense, one of the worst in the country. but the defense has played better than the offense for Air Force here.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the offense just hasn't been able to get going for Air Force. They've been able to drive down the field, but hasn't been able to turn those into touchdowns, settling for 2 field goals. So you got to give credit to Wyoming and what they're doing defensively.
That's Swoboda on a direct snap. And he's going to be stuffed and a loss of a yard. Anderson actually split out top of the screen. And Swoboda, as we noted, an ex-quarterback, took a hit and did not get the first down. And the wind has actually died down a bit here. But I think this is still a little ambitious in terms of field goal range.
Well, they run the read zone that time, and so Swoboda has the option to give the ball to Sam Scott or take it himself. Looked like a blocker was coming around, so it was designed for him to keep it. But I thought he should have given that football to Sam Scott, as he had an open crease there and would have gotten the first down.
So the clock is stopped. The official has motioned timeout. It may be for the injured Swoboda. We'll step aside as well. First drive, second half. Wyoming up a point.
Believe me, when it comes to investing, you'll love Carl's Way. Take a left here.
This is football, proudly supported by Bud Light. Breaking news, here comes John Michael Gillenborg. Swoboda was injured on that play, and that's the reason for the timeout. And it's 4th down and 3 at the 35-yard line of Air Force. Teron Kelman in the backfield. So Gillenborg, who's been nursing that hamstring, stretching it, treating it throughout the first half. Out there here now.
Let's see if they can maybe fake run to Kelman. Gillenborg into the flat there.
Kelman has the first down, breaks a tackle, inside the 30, inside the 25, all the way to the 23. Max Mustel, Blake Fletcher make the stop. That's a huge 4th down conversion for 12 yards from Wyoming.
Yeah, and Kelman decided to go ahead and just give it to him this time instead, and back to the line of scrimmage Wyoming goes.
Kelman again, pounding right side, he bursts through into the end zone. Touchdown Wyoming, 23 yards. Very similar to the play that he scored on in the first half.
It was actually the exact same play, Rich. And Kelman's been a great story this season. Wasn't getting a lot of playing time early in the year. And he talked about, look, staying ready so he didn't have to get ready. And when he got his opportunity, he took full advantage of it. Game-winning touchdown against San Jose State last week, like we've talked about. And today, that carrying over 2 touchdowns, the only 2 touchdowns for Wyoming, coming by Kelman.
Extra point is good. That's an impressive drive by Wyoming to open up the second half. Length of the field they go. And again, it's Teron Kelman into the end zone.
At Ameriprise Financial, we know our clients are so much more than clients. They're go-getters and legacy leavers. And what matters most to them matters most to us. It's no wonder we have a 4.9 out of 5 client satisfaction rating.
The 40, 25 yards on a really short kickoff. CBS Sports Network coverage, college football continues. We got a Tuesday night game this week, kids. 7:30 Eastern, Conference USA, Western Kentucky, Louisiana Tech. I present the group of 6 playoff candidates. It's early, but that's what we do. Well, we'll get to that in a moment. Now remember, Air Force, they are the fair catch kings. They rarely return a kick. But this one was so short, and sometimes it's not necessarily the guy that catches it that makes a fair catch signal. So you're going to look for both guys that were deep, Cade Frew and Cade Harris. It was Harris who brought it out. And if you have any question as to what the No, he's shading his eyes there. I think 8 was shading his eyes. That's Cade Frew.
Yeah, I couldn't see his right arm, if whether or not with that right arm he might have.
Well, obviously it wasn't Harris, but in that first shot you could see Frew with his left. Watch his left arm. He's shading his eyes, it looks like.
Yeah, but what's that right arm right there doing? Is he still trying to block the sun? I think that's the part where...
Here's a better look.
Yeah, it's a great look at it right here.
I think he's blocking the sun.
Yeah, he is.
He is blocking the sun.
Yeah, he is.
You can do that, right?
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. First down, Air Force.
There you go. So, look, we thought 70 degrees, sunny, warm. We weren't thinking about winds. They got wind, they got sun. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, and it's chilly out here. I don't know. I feel like all those years I went to Utah State for nothing. I thought I'd be used to the cold. The Seattle years, I'm freezing up here.
Dylan Carson in the backfield. Frew's in motion. And Zarka hands it to Carson going through. I've been really impressed with the front 4 of Wyoming and the linebackers. Eller and Johnson are really good. They play 3 linebackers, especially when they face Air Force. And remember, this is an Air Force offense that in their last 5 games has gone for 445, 511, 494, 460, 603 last week against UNLV. That's not happening here against Wyoming. Zarka to throw. Rolling, firing, caught there. Harris with the catch. And he's knocked out. Oh, it's Jonah Dawson with the catch. And Dawson's knocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line, 18 yards on the hookup.
And he's become a real vertical option for this Air Force offense, and this is really the difference in the first half in terms of their lack of production. Only 5 yards passing in that first half. A nice job getting going there on that play.
I'll tell you another difference. Mike Thiessen is able to move the pocket and move Zarka, and he's an accurate thrower on the move. Cade Frew. Air Force hasn't always had that. They've had quarterbacks that can throw, option guys, speed guys, but a quarterback that can roll and throw accurately, that really adds a nice element to this offense.
Yeah, typically they have quarterbacks that can do one or the other. You know, run really well or throw. Not necessarily have the combination the way that Liam Zarka does. And so, you know, he's quickly become a superstar, you know, here at Air Force for this offense, and he's still a young player, so he's continuing to grow.
They're averaging 214 through the air a game. Zarka's going to keep it after pulling it, puts his head down, and he picks up 9 yards. Westland made the stop.
And now this Air Force offense starting to find some rhythm, and you know, we talk about Zarka is a physical runner, puts his shoulder down and fights for a little extra yardage.
Since '96, most 200-plus, 100-yard rushing plus games in a row. Zarka's got 3 of them. Carson. And that's going to be a first down. Carson's inside the 30, the 28. Jones-Thomas made the stop. Air Force, a nice drive to open up.
A really nice read by Carson. I tell you what, when you line up in those fullback spots, you're only a few yards away from the line of scrimmage. It can be hard to see what the blocking scheme is doing in front of you. That time, Dylan Carson able to see that there was some space on the outside and get the first down.
Harris in the backfield. And a pitch, that's Frew. And he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage. Braden Johnson made the stop. Extracurricular activity after the whistle, and a flag is down.
It looked like Jack Burnett maybe got hit a little late. And he's looking at the refs like, come on, man, throw the flag, and there it was. Got a guy down for Wyoming right now as well.
Timeout on the field for a defensive injury.
No foul. So the officials conferred. They pick it up. And Anish Vios is down right now for Wyoming. 7.5 minutes left, third quarter. We'll step aside. Wyoming's up 14-6. This is Zeke Daniels, 17 yards. And this is Camby Goff sealing it with a pick. Air Force won the game 13-7. It's the last time they won the CIC trophy in 2002. And of course, this was a classic game. The Navy game on the left. Navy winning it 34-31. Air Force turned it over midfield at the very end. Army is coming here in 2 weeks. So Navy's 1-0, Air Force 0-1. Army obviously facing Navy at the end of the year and facing Air Force in 2 weeks. Zarka will tuck it and go! Zarka to the 10! Zarka knocked out of bounds! I don't think he got in. Tyrese Boss caught him 27 yards.
That's an interesting spot right there, but what a play call by Mike Thiessen and great execution. And I don't know if that ball crossed the plane. Looked like he might have been just short there.
His leg clipped the pylon, but I don't think the ball was out already.
Nice job by Owen Allen getting through the crease and getting the block on the linebacker. And that's what sprung Liam Zarka free for the big game.
So now Zarka with Allen behind him on the doorstep. Zarka will keep right side. I'm not sure he got in. Officials right. He did get in. The official now with a touchdown call. So Air Force an impressive drive after Wyoming opened the half with a touchdown drive.
I'd like to see Air Force go for 2 here. Looks like they're going to keep their offense on the field. Another look at Zarka. See where that football is. Tried to get a little bit of a push there. Yep, the tip of that football to me.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Well, Wyoming had 12 men on the field.
It's a touchdown, Air Force.
But that still doesn't mean that isn't getting looked at right now by the replay officials.
Yeah, I thought the ball had just crossed the plane there. I thought a good call by the referee.
I think the original call holds weight there. I don't know that you could overturn that. So here we go, 2-point conversion. Let's see where Air Force goes.
Well, haven't had much Cade Harris here in this second half. Number 21 for Air Force. Let's see if they look to him here for this 2-point conversion.
There's Harrison, your shot there. He's a marked man. Every game, he's the guy that most teams say, we're not going to let 21 beat us on the perimeter.
Yeah. Right about that one. Even in our meeting with Jay Salvell, head coach Wyoming, he talked about 21 a lot.
Frew in the backfield. Zarka, little throw to Frew, and he makes the catch. Well designed. They faked them. Zarka moved to the right, and Frew just emptied out. That's a nifty play. The game is tied. Zarka got to the doorstep. Then he got to the end zone, and on the 2-point conversion, he gets it to Cade Frew.
Believe me, when it comes to
Trying to put the helmets on right now. It's tough to. You're right. It is tough to fit them on, but it is a cool look with the Space Force. Here's Wyoming getting back to work. And that was DeBlanc coming in motion and carrying the football. 13 yards on that. Both offenses clicking here, Robert Turbin, in the second half.
And DeBlanc is a guy that they like to use in a multitude of different ways. Pass catcher at wide receiver, but we've seen him a couple times there on that fly sweep, just trying to use his speed and get him on the outside.
7 different rushers, 9 different receivers catching balls. Everybody getting utilized in this offense for Wyoming. Jalen Sargent, who made that great catch in the first half along the sidelines there.
The thing that has been impressive about Wyoming today is just their balance. their ability to run the football, utilize play action, and they've set up a lot of easy throws for Caden Anderson. The one thing they haven't done is challenge his secondary deep down the field yet. Expect that at some point here in the second half.
Harris, Dallas Daly makes the stop. That's short of the first down at the 45-yard line. The more you see of Caden Anderson, the more you like of him. He's been accurate. He's distributed the ball well.
Well, you look at that fourth quarter against San Jose State last week in that comeback win. He was 6 for 10, 120 yards, a touchdown, and just building off that confidence here in this game.
That's right on the stick. You see the official. It looks like a first down. Fletcher makes the stop. Harris on the carry. See where they mark it.
Told Harris he don't run like a freshman much, doesn't he?
No.
He understands the situation. No hesitation in the backfield. He goes and gets it right now.
Great energy. He has one-cut ability, according to Jay Johnson. What's that in the Robert Turbin football glossary? One-cut ability.
Decisive.
Another sideline throw and another completion. This time Michael Fitzgerald. It feels like it's a different receiver with every throw.
And Michael Fitzgerald's a guy through the first 5 games of the season only had 1 catch. And had a catch last week, and today he's got 3. And certainly a guy with a lot of potential. Jay Johnson highlighted him in our meetings, and he's certainly the guy that they expect to become a big star at some point.
This is Richardson. And Richardson at the 45. And keep in mind, and Tiffany Blackman had this report, Jay Sottvell talking about how much the wind has impacted their game plan. They're going into the wind right now. So it feels like the sideline pass, the short pass for Wyoming is their best weapon rather than go deep right now.
Yeah, and that's what they've sort of utilized throughout the entire game as well. But you know, wanting to set up his players to be successful, right? Especially Caden Anderson, don't want to put the ball in harm's way. A couple interceptions last week. Here it is again, 3rd and short. Let's see if Harris gets the ball.
Anderson's looking, fires, almost intercepted, incomplete. Kyle Frent was the intended receiver. Dallas Daly makes the play.
Dallas Daly. Back-to-back games where he's had career high in tackles, this time in coverage. Does a nice job resetting, reading the eyes of Caden Anderson. Almost comes down with an interception off the hands there. Good read that time.
And on second look, Brent was out in the pattern, or Frent was out on the pattern, but it was Durr who was the target. It's 4th and 3.
Got to pin him down here inside the 5.
And it takes a bounce. Was it kept out of the end zone? Nope, that's a touchback. Edmondson, a nice punt. The gunner's unable to get there before it rolled into the end zone.
That was a late call there by the ref. That was close.
It was. I think the official had to think about it. Let's watch this.
I thought he was able to. Looks like he's got that right foot there in the end zone as he bats the ball back.
The official was right on it.
It's a good look at it there, yeah.
Yeah, his foot's right on the goal line.
Yep.
Good call. We move it out to the 20-yard line. 3 minutes left, 3rd quarter, and Air Force again win it. They're back here. Long touchdown drive, their first possession in the second half. This is the second one. This is Allen breaking loose. Owen Allen still going. Legs still churning. Out to the 46. There have been a lot of high school running backs, great ones, Hall of Famers coming out of Texas. This guy's 17th all-time in high school rushing in that state.
Best part of this run is the finish. And you know what's interesting is we talked to Coach Troy Calhoun and letting him just turn those legs. what do you want to see out of your fullbacks improvement-wise? And he says, look, that leg drive is something that I really wanted to continue to improve on, and Owen Allen showing it at the end of that run.
Zarka keeps. Wyoming smells it and stuffs him. Gain of 1. For more on Owen Allen, here's Tiff.
Hey, guys, when we got to talk with Owen Allen, he told us about the turning point for him, which was last season in that Nevada game. And he mentioned how Dylan Carson had gone out with an injury and that they leaned on him, and it really gave him the confidence knowing his coaches and teammates had his back, and it's kind of laid the foundation for what we're seeing now.
Absolutely. And that fullback position, Tiff and Robert, so important in Air Force's offense. Little throwback, he had Harris and overthrew him. Zarka rolling to his right. There were actually 2 receivers out in that pattern. It looked like Jonah Dawson was out there as well.
It's just a beautiful route by Harris. I mean, he starts as if he's going to go across the middle and then plants with boom, comes back to the outside. And just an overthrow right there. Not something you see often from Liam Zarka. He's usually pinpoint with his accuracy. A rare overthrow that time.
Looked like a reverse dagger concept. Swing pass, Kent Frew, and Frew to the 43. That's a first down. Marquis Grant made the stop, 10 yards. And Air Force doing what they did to start this half, and that's move the football, move the sticks.
Wyoming had 2 defenders right there to be able to make that tackle. You got number 9, Braden Johnson, and number 23, Jones Thomas. They've got to make that tackle right there short of the first down. And a missed opportunity, but a good job by Cade Frew making 2 guys miss and getting the first down.
Frew and Allen have seen most of the time in that backfield. Allen again, right up the guts. Tice Westland makes his 8th tackle. It's a 5-yard gain.
Oh, man, you watch Owen Allen, and he just has that impact on you. Now it feels like every time he gets the football, he's liable to break a big one. He doesn't go down on first contact, which is a key piece to playing that fullback position. And, man, as this guy continues to grow in his career this season, he's a scary guy with the ball in his hands.
Allen again. Troy Calhoun, well, of course, he was a quarterback long ago for Fisher DeBerry at Air Force, now the head coach, and he's the fullback coach. He says for an Air Force fullback like a Brad Roberts or this guy, Owen Allen, it usually takes about 1.5 years, almost 2 years before they're ready to play regularly in the system. And that's kind of the schedule that Owen Allen has been on. Field flips here. Into the wind goes Air Force in a tie game headed to the 4th.
I live in Longscope, Scotland.
Going into the wind.
And this might be 4-down territory right here for Air Force as well when you talk about that wind.
Terrence Gist into the ballgame. He'll lead the blocking for Zarka, who's hit and dropped, and it looks like he's a yard short. Westland with tackle number 9.
Here comes Owen Allen back into the game. And 4th down, and as expected, they're going to go for it here.
This would be a 52-yarder. That's probably beyond the distance they're comfortable with Reagan Tubbs, even if there were no wind. So Allen's in the backfield. Got to get a yard on 4th down. Air Force this season 13 of 17 on 4th down. And Zarka, a good running quarterback. Frew in motion. Play action. Little roll. And he overthrows the tight end. That's Fleischman. And it's incomplete. And Wyoming holds.
Yeah, give a lot of credit to Dancis Miller that time, number 20, putting the pressure on Zarka, making him get rid of that football a little sooner than he wanted to. How about this Wyoming defense? They've been showing up all day. And they showed up again here on this 4th down. How about this offense getting the ball back?
You've got the magic touch. It makes me glow so much.
If you misplaced your card,
slide to the right and the card's locked.
The Chase mobile app has card lock.
Locked, unlocked, locked, unlocked.
This is the best field position to start a drive for Wyoming in this game. It's their 7th drive, 14 apiece, and Wyoming has the wind at their back. And they've got Teron Kelman in the backfield, and he ain't going anywhere. Aiden Schwartz. Peyton Zadroik there as well.
Zadroik, we've talked about him at some points and throughout this game. He's the guy that eats up double teams, does all the dirty work there on that defensive line, and that time forcing a tackle for loss.
Second and 11. Kelman bursts through, and he spins his way right out to the stick. It's a gain of 11, but it may be a half-yard shy of the first down. But Kelman really got through the hole quickly.
No hesitation that time by Kelman, just a burst of speed. Defensive line out of their gaps there. But a nice job by Max Mostel on the tackle, stopping him short. Defense got to get lined up for Air Force. And I expect Wyoming to go back to the ground right now with Tote Harris.
They need half a yard here. Holman in motion, high snap, and this is Tote Harris. Got the first down. 1st and 10, we're headed back to New York. This update, Georgia, Ole Miss, Brent Stover.
Rich, this game has been sensational. 28-20, Georgia down 8. Gunnar Stockton, Lawson, Lucky. 2-point conversion failed, so Ole Miss still up 2. They come down and get a Trinidad Chambliss touchdown run. 35-26, Ole Miss deep in the 3rd, guys.
Thank you, sir. Back to pass, Caden Anderson fires it left side, caught there. Big catch, Jalen Sargent. And now with the wind at their back, they can take a shot down the field, and they hit a 29-yarder.
Yeah, I knew at some point they were going to go play action pass and try to hit a deep shot. Caden Anderson was really trying to hit Michael Fitzgerald, who was coming across the middle from left to right, and then saw that he was doubled. So then he saw Sargent coming across there wide open. So just a nice job by Caden Anderson going through his progression, being patient. Good time in the pocket by the offensive line.
See that note, 9 different receivers have caught balls. Tote Harris to the left side. He's hit there and dropped. Roger Jones Jr. on that left side.
You know, the one thing about this Air Force defense that they haven't been able to do much this season is force takeaways. They're -6 in the turnover margin. And a lot of times, you know, not only can something like that spark your team, but it can spark your defense. See if they can take some chances here and try to force a takeaway.
It's a great point. Only 4 turnovers forced. That's last in the Mountain West. Little throwback to Tote Harris, who breaks a tackle, and Harris is all the way down to the 5. Dallas Daly pulls him down. Remember the 4th down stop by the defense, and Wyoming has taken the ball all the way inside the 5. That's 16 more yards.
And I tell you what, had he had another second, he has Svoboda for a touchdown.
Harris here, inside the 5, down to the 3. Alexander Perez makes the stop for Air Force.
This is as confident as I've seen Caden Anderson really throughout his entire young career. I mean, he is in complete control right now of this offense, complete command.
This is what he looked like in the 4th quarter last week against San Jose State.
Well, absolutely.
Kelman in the backfield, and he's not going to get it. Air Force stiffens. Zadroik in the middle there, along with Roger Jones Jr. Now you're looking at 3rd and goal, right at the 3-yard line.
I think that if Jay Johnson, we haven't seen Caden Anderson on the move much in terms of moving the pocket. Perhaps a rollout play Oh, and they're going to go Wildcat here with Svoboda.
Yep, Swoboda's in. Anderson is the top of your screen as a wide receiver. Swoboda, the former quarterback, now a tight end. And he's going to throw it into the end zone, and it's picked off! Oh, goodness! Air Force, there's your turnover. That's Roger Jones Jr. Just the 5th turnover for this defense all year.
Roger Jones Jr. had an interception earlier in the season against Bucknell and comes away with what may be the
drives. No points for either team. A stop on 4th down by Wyoming's defense. The Cowboys a long drive and a pick in the end zone by Air Force. And now Air Force with the big guy, Owen Allen, getting to the outside. He gets the edge. Jones Thomas made the stop. Let's take a look at that pick in the end zone.
Well, there's Roger Jones Jr. sitting there right there at free safety. He just reads the eyes of Evan Swoboda. Does a nice job showing really good patience right here, not being overly aggressive on the play action, staying disciplined, and making a play on the football.
And remember, Swoboda was a starting quarterback last year, turned tight end, and he was throwing to Gillenborg, who hasn't played a whole lot in this game. And this is Zarka busting across the 40, out to the 42. Jones Thomas the stop, 9 more yards for Liam Zarka, the quarterback of these Air Force Falcons.
And I expect Air Force to be intentional about keeping this thing on the ground, try to lure this secondary of the Wyoming defense towards the line of scrimmage and take a big shot at some point here in the 4th quarter. But they're in complete control right now.
Zarka now has 121 yards of rushing. Owen Allen in the backfield, 14-14. Heck of a game. And, of course, Air Force had a 2-point conversion on their last score to tie it up. Tice Westland, his 10th tackle in this game on that carry.
This is all Air Force wants to do right here. Move the chains. Take their time to the line of scrimmage. They're not in any rush right now. The clock is their friend. They've got possession of the football. And they want to continue to chip away at this clock. Try to finish in the end zone for a touchdown.
Allen has run for 65 yards for Air Force. And he gets through the mosh pit and busts loose. And Allen to the 20. All the way inside the 20-yard line. Owen Allen. Andrew Johnson made the stop. 37 more yards.
Well, there's that trap play. It worked so well for them last week against UNLV, and Owen Allen able to find some room again and burst through the crease. And I'll tell you what, this offensive line, the Diesel group for Air Force, again having a big day.
Allen on the sideline. This is Frew, and he's knocked out of bounds. The Joe Moore Award is the Heisman Trophy for offensive lines. And Air Force's offensive line has made the cut on the half-season point on that Joe Moore Award. So people have taken notice nationally that even though this defense has given up points and the quarterback and the running back and receiver are terrific, that this offensive line is really good.
Deservedly so. They've got so much continuity amongst one another as well.
Allen in the backfield. Zarka will keep it, and Zarka gets inside the 10. He's short of the first down. Andrew Johnson made the hit. This is going to be a short 3rd down now after a gain of 7.
And this is an interesting part of the game right here as we take a look at that play. I think if you're short here on this 3rd down, Rich, if you don't lose any yardage, I think this is 4-down territory for Air Force.
And remember, they were stopped on 4th down on their way headed in this direction, their last possession. Zarka, that's a pitch, and that's Allen who cuts in, and he's short of the first down. Tice Westland has a dozen tackles now for Wyoming.
Good decision by not only Zarka, but Owen Allen getting downhill right now, but just great pursuit by Westland.
This guy's been everywhere.
And here they go, 4th down. Quarterback sneak. That's what I expect here.
4th and 1. Little motion and a pitch. And Frew is in. Touchdown. Cade Frew and Air Force have the lead.
Most of their success in the run game today has come on the edge. And that time, Cade Frew able to find some space. Great job blocking up front. Good job blocking on the outside. And an easy run there for Cade Frew to get into the end zone.
The last 5 games, Air Force's offense has been brilliant, but they haven't won. They've needed help from their defense. Guess what? They get it on the pick. Roger Jones Jr. with the interception. Cade Frew finishes a long drive, and now Air Force leads 21-14. College football. Worst in the nation in pass yards. Worst in the nation in total yards. Worst in the nation in pass efficiency defense. Worst in the Mountain West in turnovers forced. All of those numbers. And here they are at home, having given up just 14 points. And the interception by Jones in the end zone, as you pointed out, maybe the biggest play of this game. He's going to throw that one into the turf. Everybody was covered. Anderson didn't want to take a sack. It's 2nd and 10.
And as I mentioned, turnovers not only spark your team, but it can spark your defense. And right there, not fooled by the screen setup by Wyoming's offense. There's the stats you were talking about,
yeah,
Rich.
Look, it is what it is. You document it, but it puts into perspective. I mean, they've given up in the last 5 games 49, 49, 44, 34, and 51 points. Harris with the carry, left side, 25-yard line. Well short of the first down. This is going to be a sizable 3rd down of about 3rd and 6.
Yeah, and the guy that's been quiet today is Chris Durr, number 13 for Wyoming. And he's typically their 3rd down playmaker, but a playmaker overall. There he is right there at the bottom of your screen and with his lineup in the slot. Let's see if Caden Anderson targets him here on this 3rd down.
Anderson, 4-man rush, flushed, looking, firing over the middle. It's picked off. Another interception. Max Mustel, who was playing high school football last year, steps up. Man, this young secondary is really having some nice moments.
They come in bunches, don't they, Rich? Max Mustel, look, he wants to go to Chris Durr on the corner route towards the sideline there. He's not open. Starts to drift to his right, and boy, the eyes of Max Mustel not coming off of Caden Anderson, reading that thing the whole way. A true freshman. Anderson took a hit there in the backfield, but Max Mustel got his first start against Boise State earlier in the season. That was Jackson Adams on the hit. Was getting first-team reps during training camp, and boy, he's gotten better.
And great field position, obviously. Zarka trying to strike right away off the right side. Picks up 9 more yards. So the young defense. Look, Air Force started 3 true freshmen who were all in high school last year in a conference game in the secondary. And the other 2 starters were sophomores.
True sophomores at that.
Yes. Those guys are 18 and 19 years old. That whole secondary. That's incredible.
Wyoming, I think, just jumped off sides there, giving Air Force a 1st down. Looked like it was Caleb Merritt, number 2 for Wyoming.
This is only the 4th penalty in the game. 4th.
21, actually, for Wyoming. Looked like to me jumped off sides.
Enoch Sibamona.
False start. Offense, number 58. The defensive player was not in the neutral zone, so therefore the offensive player was not protected. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
I'm not sure I agree with that one, Rich. Didn't look like he didn't cross the neutral zone. That was the explanation, huh?
I'm not sure I understood that one. He said that the defensive player was in the neutral zone and the offensive player was defenseless. As it is, it backs the football up to the 25. Remember, if this turns into a field goal spot, you got an inexperienced kicker for Air Force looking into a 20 to 30 mile an hour wind. 2nd and 6. Quick to the outside. And it's Frew. Braden Johnson made the stop.
Frew's having a good game. And that is the interesting piece about Air Force's offense. You just never know who it's going to be.
So with that wind and with the inexperience of the kicker, is this 4-down territory?
Well, you did connect on a field goal early in the first quarter.
Right.
Going this direction.
Yep.
And I think with the lead, you can think about a field goal. But if you're in that 4th and 3 or less, I think Air Force goes for it.
Reagan Tubbs getting his very first career start as a place kicker. And Zarka's not going to get the first down. So Westland make the stop.
I think he's kicking.
And so there's your answer. Here comes the field goal unit. Now, in terms of direction, it's not going to move it left to right. It's just going straight into his face. And they're going to make him think about it. We're back in 30 for a big field goal attempt.
At Total Wireless, we got your back every day. Others, not so much. Just look at the facts.
Switch to Total Wireless and save 50% off Metro and Cricket. Guaranteed. With one line when you keep the phone and number you love.
Facts.
That means you'll pay half what these other guys charge when you bring your phone.
Facts.
And we were the first 5-year price guarantee in prepaid. Because one thing's for certain,
we've got you covered. Get the facts. Then switch to Total Wireless.
Reagan Tubbs has been kicking for Air Force for the last 3 years, but on kickoffs. He did hit his only field goal attempt 2 seasons ago. He's come out and hit one here.
And this is the right decision by Troy Calhoun. Make it a two-score game in this situation if you're able to hit it.
Into the wind, which is gusted up to 30. Been steady at about 20. From 41, there's the kick, into the wind, and it's good.
That's a nice job.
Air Force, remember, their last 2 games against undefeated teams, they've lost by a field goal in each of those. That's the 3rd field goal by Reagan Tubbs in this one, and he hit it true. This, the 2nd pick here in the 4th quarter by this young Air Force secondary, Max Mustel.
That was the penalty that moved Air Force back, which may have caused them to maybe have to kick the field goal in that situation. Nonetheless, good operation by the special teams in that field goal unit to put Air Force in position to be up 2 possessions here at this point in the game.
Boy, the 2 interceptions are just enormous. Mustel, the freshman, the true freshman. Roger Jones Jr., the true sophomore. Jones was in the end zone. Mustel was there, and that set up that sequence. Caleb Merritt for Wyoming. So, look, the wind's at Wyoming's back, but they're running out of time here. Under 3 minutes left. Wyoming has 2 timeouts left. And this is what they've been waiting for, this young secondary to make plays. Evan Swoboda in a wildcat. That stopped a score. Max Mustel. That set up the field goal. Just 4 coming into this game. This is game 7 and 2 today. Anderson got to get busy here. Lots of time. short throw, and it's Kelman. Good open field tackle there by Dallas Daly, who's playing a nice game.
And for Cade Anderson, look, no panic here. Obviously, the clock is not your friend, so you got to do a good job with clock management, but decision-making is the most important piece right here.
Well, remember the fantastic finish against San Jose State. Anderson scrambling. He doesn't have great mobility, and he's brought down from behind. Lucia Rawls Jr. making the stop.
Got to get back to the line of scrimmage if you're Wyoming here.
Boy, they've eaten up almost a minute of clock for 2 plays. They'll keep it on the ground. That's going to stop the clock with a first down. Actually, it won't. We're not under 2 minutes, but it'll get you to the 2-minute timeout. So the chains are moving. Now we're at the 2-minute timeout. Wyoming is down 10 on the move. 2 minutes left in this ball game.
First loss since I bought it.
Still can't believe this thing is yours.
No. Navy Federal Credit Union gave me such an affordable...
Love this offense, and he was again today.
Hasn't thrown it for a lot, but 136 yards. His 5th straight game. This is only his 4th career start,
which is unbelievable.
Now, Wyoming has 2 timeouts left. They need a score, and obviously they need the ball back. Came from behind last week to beat San Jose State in thrilling fashion. Sargent makes the catch. And now that you're past the 2-minute timeout, clock stops as they move the chains. It's a gain of 10.
It's a nice job by Sargent getting out of bounds. You do have 2 timeouts, but you don't want to use them if you don't have to. So if you're these skilled guys, tight ends, you get the ball near the sideline, get out of bounds and stop the clock when you can.
And he did get out of bounds, so that obviously stops the clock. 4-man rush. Anderson flushed. Little shovel pass. That's a nifty catch by Harris. The fact that Harris didn't go down on his knees and at least kept the ball, it's a gain of 5, but the clock is still rolling.
Yeah, back to the line of scrimmage right here. Nice little shovel pass there by Anderson.
Blitz comes, steps through it, plenty of time, looks downfield, gets to the sideline and out of bounds. Dallas Daly was in pursuit. It's a gain of 13. So Wyoming's doing what they need to do. They're moving the football. They got a minute and a half left.
Moving the football hasn't been the issue for Wyoming here in the second half. It's been about finishing their drives. And when you get into this point of the game, Rich, it's all about your playmakers. Obviously got to execute, but your playmakers have to make plays here in this situation.
Chris Durr Jr. probably their best playmaker. Anderson's throw is short, and they may have to burn a timeout here. That one's caught at the 25-yard line. 6 yards on that. Clock is melting down. They're not going to call the timeout. They're going to hustle to the line of scrimmage. 4-man rush. Anderson fires sideline wide open there. That's DeBlanc. And DeBlanc is out of bounds. Good work by the Pokes. They're down to about the 14. 12 yards on that. Now they can catch their breath with the clock stopped.
Really nice throw that time by Anderson. Time in the pocket. Accurate football. Smart by DeBlanc to get out of bounds.
1st and 10. They still have the 2 timeouts. Ball at the 13. Did Air Force call a timeout? They did. All right, so Air Force calls the timeout. After this one, we're headed back to New York, inside college football. Lots of stuff to talk about. How about Vandy with their win today, beating LSU? Boise State starting to put some distance between themselves and UNLV. And they'll look at all of that inside college football here on CBS Sports Network. The story here, if you've just joined us, Air Force's defense, the worst in college football, has had some big moments. The youngest secondary in college football has come up with 2 fourth-quarter picks. And for Troy Calhoun and Air Force, so many close calls with the great offensive days in their last 5 games. 0-5 in those games, by the way. And a chance here to get a W.
You know, the great thing about these young players on defense, Roger Jones Jr., the sophomore, Max Mistel, both guys, he's a freshman, Max Mistel, by the way, came down with interceptions, is you start to believe in yourself. Like, I can make these plays. And you do it in the game, you see it on film, and that's where the growth really starts for you as an individual player.
Kelman's in the backfield, minute 6 left. Wyoming needs a touchdown, then they need to get the ball back. They still have their 2 timeouts. Anderson looking, end zone throw, caught there, Fitzgerald. 13 yards, there's the touchdown. Still work to do, but a minute and 2 seconds remain.
And that was just way too easy. And they left way too much space for Fitzgerald, 6'6", 210 pounds. Didn't get any hands on him at the line of scrimmage, free release.
Well, that's a great high point catch by Michael Fitzgerald.
He made that look easy.
6'6". That's the guy you want high pointing it in the corner of the end zone. So the extra point is good, and now you're thinking
onside kick.
Yeah, because if you had 3 timeouts, you might try to stop them, but with 2 timeouts, you can't really do that.
Nope.
So it's got to be an onside kick.
Onside kick right here for Wyoming. So Air Force, we used to call this the All-State team, the All-State hands team. You know, All-State, you're in good hands.
Were you on the hands team in the NFL?
I was, actually.
Not a big.
Yeah,
did you ever get a squibbler coming your way?
I did, and I did recover one time. It was actually in a preseason game. I forget who we were playing against, though. Maybe the Raiders. Most of the time, though, I was the guy kind of blocking up front.
Well, if that's the case, what's the toughest type of onside kick to recover?
It's the high one. It's the one that, like, dribbles and then, boom, has that big
takes that
bounce.
second hop.
Yeah, that takes that second hop high.
It's bad for shortstops, too.
No doubt.
All right, here we go. Keelan Anderson is going to kick it for Wyoming. The wind has been blowing the ball off the tee all day long. He's aiming for that left side. Let's see if he sends it there. Here we go. Got to go 10. Oh, it's loose. It was touched by Air Force. I think they got it back, though. Air Force gets it back. Matt Long on the hands team, number 3, comes away with it for a brief moment. I mean, it was touched before 10 yards by the receiving team, which means it's live once it's touched.
Yeah, and that's a tough one to get because it's, man, do you let it go to the second?
Oh, he got it back. He dropped it and got it back.
You know, typically that's not his job. As a guy on the front line, that's not really his job to go after that football. But if you're able to come down with it, that's all that matters.
All right, there's 1 minute left. There's 2 timeouts left. So if you're Air Force here, obviously ball security is number 1. They'll hand it off. Wyoming needs to get him down and get the timeout. So they can only stop it 1 more time. I mean, in doing the math, it's... You run another play, it's another 5 or 6 seconds, and the play clock would be reset. I think they're going to run out of time here. This was a huge moment. Swoboda came in to wildcat it. The former quarterback came up short. Rogers Jones Jr. And then Anderson was picked by the true freshman Mustel. And both of those plays have put Wyoming in this hole right now.
Well, the Jones Jr. pick in the end zone was a big one, Rich, because had they completed that pass, that puts Wyoming up 6 there. With a field goal there, you go up a touchdown. And so that's negated by that interception. Then Air Force is able to answer that and respond by scoring on their drive and going up a touchdown. So big plays by the defense today.
You're trying to hold on to the ball and maybe run a little bit of clock if you're Air Force here. They're going to pitch it. Harris is getting outside, and he's snuffed there. And Wyoming will call their next timeout. Well, that only took 4 seconds. So now Wyoming is, if it all works out for them, is going to get the football with under 10 seconds left at best case scenario. Remaining schedule, a bye and then Army. And of course that game is on CBS, part of the Commander-in-Chief Trophy series. They travel to San Jose State. They travel to UConn. Wyoming has the Bronze Boot game next week. They got San Diego State. Not a lot of people are talking about San Diego State and how good they are right now. There's a showdown with Boise State coming in November. You and I have that game. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Looking forward to that one for sure, but Air Force got to finish the deal here.
So after this, if they run off a few seconds here, Zarka trying to stay up. Well, Zarka's going to get the first down. This game's over. So Zarka said, to heck with, just running around and going down. I'm getting the first down and finishing the deal. So it's over. At best, Wyoming would have had the ball with 7 or 8 seconds left if all the math worked out. And Zarka just said, forget it. Let's go first down.
And they go heavy to the right side. Got Cade Harris over there, Frew's over there, Owen Allen. He's just running behind that offensive line and all those backs. Puts his shoulder down and gets the first down.
See the play clock running down. Zarka goes to the knee, and Air Force finally has their win. All of those points, all those games where they were averaging close to 500 yards a game, and they didn't get a win. And that young secondary was picked on. That young secondary just won Troy Calhoun and the Falcons a football game with 2 picks in the fourth quarter, and Air Force takes down Wyoming 24-21.
Well, Troy Calhoun has always talked about how, each and every game, this defense has found even minimal ways to get better, and it showed up in this ball game today.
Home team wins a lot in this series, and they do in this one. So Wyoming drops to 1-2, and Air Force, they have one of the best offenses in the country, and yet they're 2-5 and 1-4. You wonder if they're going to go on a run like they did last year when they dominated November. They got a bye, then they got Army. It feels like they got some momentum.
Yeah, they won their last 4 games last season.
And of course, the great tradition, the alma mater.
Everybody come.